It's Tuesday, January 21st, 2020. Here's what's happening. The city of Jamestown is looking for a new ambulance service, plus a Cattaraugus County woman is behind bars after allegedly stabbing her neighbor.
And we have a few leftover lake effect snow showers through the afternoon, but how long will this last? Plus, how's the rest of the week looking? We'll talk about it next. The news starts now.
From the team that puts coverage first, this is your source for breaking news. WNY News Now.
And thanks for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. Our top story, the city of Jamestown is looking for a new ambulance service as medical calls continue to increase. If a company is selected following the open bid process, they would become the main responder to emergencies here in the city. The Jamestown Fire Department would act as a secondary responder to medical calls. Now, in September 2019, the Jamestown Fire Department union sounded the alarm about understaffing issues within that department. Specifically, they say policy placed residents at risk by only having enough firefighters to staff the city's ambulance, leaving the ladder truck out of service and unavailable to respond to structure fires. City officials since then announced the Smart City Capital Investment Program that included the purchase of 2 new ambulances. Officials have also talked about starting their own ambulance service here in the city of Jamestown. Crews say the uptick in calls is most likely caused by the lack of response from All-Star EMS, who in recent years has reduced emergency response services in the city. Well, a Cattaraugus County woman was arrested after allegedly stabbing a neighbor several times. New York State Police say that 21-year-old Kaylee Hicks is charged with burglary and assault and criminal possession of a weapon. Troopers say Hicks was arraigned in village court, then taken to county jail, and she's scheduled to reappear in court later on this month. Police did not release any further details of that incident. And a bill introduced by New York State Senator George Borrello aims to rename part of Route 394 between Faulkner and Kennedy in honor of a fallen war hero. The highway would be named in memory of Staff Sergeant David Texford, who was killed July 15, 2008, during combat operations in Mosul, Iraq at age 27. He was deployed in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom in May as a member of the Combined Joint Special Operations Task Force. This was his first deployment in support of the War on Terror. Texford graduated from Randolph High School, where he played football, wrestled, and ran track. He volunteered for military service in May 2002 as an infantryman. Texford earned a Green Beret designation and was awarded the Bronze Star Medal, Purple Heart Medal, and many more designations during his time of service. Well, the village of Fredonia remains first in the running to receive a $500,000 transformation on the reality show Small Business Revolution. Now, if you remember last week, the village found out that they made the top 5 list after it was previously announced they were in the top 10. Officials with the Chautauqua County Chamber of Commerce are now urging residents to help out by voting online. Voting is open until 11 p.m. this evening, and you can vote at deluxe.com / small business revolution. I'll read it again. It's deluxe.com / small business revolution. We also have a link to that on WNYNewsNow.com. So far, the show's hosts have traveled to meet with each small town to learn more about how they could benefit from the makeover. Fredonia is in the running with 4 other communities. Very exciting news, certainly, for Fredonia. And to see that they're still in the top place for that contest. But again, there's still so many hours of voting today, and that really could change things as we head throughout, especially into this afternoon and this evening, I'm sure, as those other communities will be pepping up their campaign to vote. So very important for people to stick around and vote. Hopefully you're having a good day, and thanks so much for joining us here on WNY News. Now let's check in with the comments, and got to say hello to Dawn. Hopefully you're doing well. Good afternoon to Cindy and to Butch as well. Pam is watching. Hopefully you all are having a great day. And certainly today is cold and it's kind of gloomy out there. Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter joins us now with a live look at what we can expect in our weather. And Dakota, there was a lot of sunshine yesterday, not the case right now.
Yeah, Jay, and happy Tuesday, everybody. And the sun has kind of gone behind the clouds, and we still have a few leftover lake effect snow showers going through. Here's the radar. Now, there's really nothing showing up in the southern tier. I think the beam is just too far off the ground to really detect anything, and the snow is really light across the southern tier. It's very light lake effect snow. It's not like a big deal today, but do keep in mind that we will see a few lake effect flurries from time to time as we go throughout the day. Lake Ontario generating its own lake effect band as well up here. That is basically near of the Lake Ontario shoreline, but that will not impact us. It's mainly potato flakes through the rest of the afternoon. 24 was the high yesterday. 16 was a low this morning, but that actually was a morning low. Our low temperature actually occurred earlier than this. Temperature rose overnight, so this was the morning low as we woke up this morning. 72 and 20 below zero are basically in the record books for today. And the days are indeed getting longer. We're making progress with the sunset times. Every day we're gaining about a minute and a half to about 2 minutes of daylight every single day. But again, it's not so much the sunset time, it's the sunrise time combined with it as well. You can see the sunrise is starting to come up earlier and earlier, about 1 to 2 minutes earlier every day. And this will continue all the way through the rest of the winter, into the spring, and into the summer. So the days are finally starting to get a little longer, little at a time here. So light lake effect snow showers, this is actually overdone. What you see back behind me in this sky image, that's way overdone for basically what it's going to be today. 1/4 to 1/2 inch. That's it. Not a big deal. Otherwise, mostly cloudy and cold. 19 in the valleys to 28 near the Lake Erie shoreline. But a warm-up is coming our way for the rest of the week, plus another weekend storm. We'll talk about it in a few. Back to you, Justin.
All right, Dakota, thank you very much. Good afternoon to David as well. Great to see you here on the broadcast. Coming up, more to tell you about where New York's governor's approval rating sits ahead of his 2020 executive budget talks. And later, how the National Comedy Center here in Jamestown needs your help. Stay with us as WNY News Now continues.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvanna Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer, plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you. When you're on the go, stay in the know by downloading the WNY News Now mobile app. Stay up to date on local news, weather, and sports that matter to you. Plus, subscribe to breaking news and weather alerts from the team that puts coverage first. In addition, watch news as it happens with the Southern Tier's only 24/7 streaming network. Download the WNY News Now app right now. It's free on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store.
And welcome back to WNY News Now. A new poll has found New York Governor Andrew Cuomo's favorability rate has increased, although support for the new bail reforms passed by the state is dwindling. The Siena College poll found that at least 2/3 of voters are in support of 11 of the governor's State of the State proposals, and nearly half of those surveyed are against the new bail reform law. Specifically, 49% say the new law was bad for the state, 37% were in favor of it, and 10% didn't really have an opinion. Polling also found that 50% of registered voters here support legalizing recreational marijuana. The poll was conducted from January 11th through the 16th by telephone calls to 814 New York State registered voters. The governor is scheduled to unveil his executive budget proposal this afternoon. That budget is due in April. Well, senators may have to prepare to work some serious overtime. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is calling for 12-hour days in President Trump's impeachment trial. Now, it proposes House impeachment members and the president's legal team will each be given 24 hours to make opening arguments, but they will only have 2 days to do it. It's the same amount of time both sides had in Bill Clinton's impeachment. The difference is they've each had 4 days to get through those arguments. The resolution also says senators will get to ask questions for 16 hours, then vote on whether to subpoena witnesses or documents. None of these rules are actually set in stone yet. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer slammed the speedy timeline laid out by McConnell. The New York Democrat explained what he wanted to see.
We will require every senator to vote on whether there should be certain witnesses, whether there should be certain documents, and whether we should have the kind of unfair, stacked deck, Alice in Wonderland type proceeding that McConnell has proposed.
Schumer says McConnell's timeline would see opening arguments going into the late night, adding that without a real trial judging the merits of the case, quote, democracy is eroded. In health news, researchers have discovered about 2 million Americans have heart disease and have used marijuana, even though it's a suspected risk factor. Scientists reviewed previously published studies to uncover this statistic, and there are a few randomized controlled traits studying the association between marijuana and heart disease. However, data in 36 studies shows the top risk factors for heart attacks are eating a heavy meal, using cocaine, and smoking a joint. Scientists believe smoking marijuana is just as dangerous for your heart as smoking cigarettes, even though pot smokers tend to take fewer puffs than tobacco smokers, and they often hold the smoke in longer in their lungs, which delivers more toxic chemicals to their bodies. Now, there are currently no guidelines addressing an association between marijuana and cardiovascular disease. Experts say anytime you inhale anything other than air, you're likely to increase your risk factors for health problems. Well, plant-based meat alternatives are surging in popularity. Impossible Foods, they're the maker of that famous Impossible Burger, is seeing so much demand and launching new products, while its competitor, Beyond Meat, is teaming up with more fast food and grocery chains. In today's Consumer Watch, a look at the meaty success behind these companies and how they're changing the way we shop and we eat.
Meatless products are sizzling hot. Sales of plant-based foods grew 11% from 2018 to 2019. A United Nations report finds that alternatives to meat will grow so much that by 2040, 60% of the world's meat likely won't come from slaughtered animals. Impossible Foods is seeing so much success that it's working on fake bacon in the same month that it unveiled its pig-free pork.
It's made from soy protein, coconut fat, sunflower oil, as well as our secret or magic ingredient called heme. As we grow, we're trying to introduce new alternatives in the meat category so that we can replace animals by the year 2035.
Impossible Foods says demand is so high it's causing a shortage, as Burger King announced plans to roll out an Impossible Burger nationally. Its competitor, Beyond Meat, is also savoring meaty success. Its strategy? Sell plant-based products where meat eaters are actually shopping. That means convincing supermarkets to place Beyond Meat products directly in the meat aisle and partnering with fast food chains like KFC to incorporate Beyond Meat items into their menus.
You get all the great stuff that's in meat, but none of the downside.
Experts say demand is fueled by consumers looking to make their diets healthier and reduce their impact on the environment without sacrificing taste.
Absolutely only categorically care about meat eaters.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Mary Maloney.
Mary, thank you very much. Well, meanwhile, IKEA Food is also jumping into the meatless revolution. Dakota, they're developing a new meatless meatball that tastes like the real thing.
I don't know. I mean, people said back in the 50s, 60s, that at some point in the future we'd be growing all of our food in test tubes.
Well,
I don't like that idea. I
yeah,
don't.
See, the thing with the Impossible meat, and
But
for the record, I haven't actually tried any of it, but I've always
Right.
wondered, like the Burger King burger, which I think is
People have said it's not that
locally
good.
one of the easiest things you could probably get a hold of. I know
Right.
the Jamestown Brewing Company down here, they have an Impossible meat substitute, the Impossible Burger as they call it. But it depends on how these things are cooked, right? If they're cooked next to the other burgers, it's
I
going
mean,
to
it
leak
doesn't
over.
really make any sense.
Right. And the other thing too,
Didn't somebody try suing Burger King over that, or getting mad, saying that the plant-based burger is cooked on the same grill?
but where else are they going to cook it?
Right.
You know?
But I don't know. I mean, I understand why we're trying to go to plant-based stuff. It's supposed to be a lot healthier for
Right.
you, and
that's the
and all
thing.
that stuff. But
like, if you're going to eat burgers and fries all the time, you're going to probably
Right.
feel the consequences.
But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. It sort of reminds me of growing food in test tubes.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not ready to jump into that area yet. I mean, there's still a lot of gray areas, but
And the thing is, I mean, you can get a lot of really
at least
great
that's my opinion.
local meat from farms. And an example of it would be like with 4-H, right? These
Right.
students raise these animals and then they're sold at the county fair. You can bid and buy them and
Yeah.
freeze them, and you
A
have
livestock auction.
this meat, this local
Yeah.
meat. It might not be organic, but
Right.
it's from our community. And I think
I mean,
that's probably one of the biggest things that...
farms are still a big deal, and yet, in my opinion, this is just my humble opinion, so please don't send the hate mail. It's just we're trying to eliminate farms, and I don't like that. I'm not a fan of that.
Well, you won't get too much hate mail or voice calls because our phones aren't working
Yeah.
today. So
There's a
don't
long
try to
story
call
behind
us.
that, so.
We'll get to that story in probably a couple of days. Right now we got a gag order, so it's great. I'm just kidding. We don't. Our producer's like, "What are you doing?" I'm sorry. I'm gonna backpedal. So gotta say hello to David. He says, I'm going to eat meat till the day I die. Same here, David.
Yeah,
Just
I mean, I just
enjoy.
I know friends who are. I mean, I have friends who are vegans and vegetarians who swear by it, but
Butch says,
I
read
don't
what's
know.
in those alternatives. Yeah. Pam says, actually not bad. Okay. Well, we'll see. Samantha says, I hate them trying to change people. Right. It's like they're just trying to just do your own thing. You know?
Well, I mean,
Do you.
I guess the argument is because if you eat unhealthy and you get sick and you get diabetes and all this stuff and you have to get all this medical care, then it makes everybody else's health insurance go up. That's what I've heard. So
Oh, hey,
I don't know.
It is what it is. Well, let's switch gears and get a check of our forecast. And it's chilly and gray out there.
It is. Let's take a look at the Sky Vision Camera Network, and that is a live look over Mayville. You can see the clouds overhead, but at least there's no snow falling out of those clouds right now. But boy, it is still chilly. We should be near 32 degrees this time of the year, and nowhere near that. We're currently at 21 at Mayville with a northwest wind of 4 miles per hour. These were the low temperatures tonight. Now, these were the official lows that occurred early this morning. Temperatures rose overnight, so the official low in the record books is 11, 13 in Dunkirk, 23 over in Erie, 12 in Olean, 18 in Buffalo, and 4 in Bradford. So these were early morning highs. Temperatures rose overnight, and most of us were in the mid to upper teens to pretty much around lower 20s is pretty much where we started the day. Live First Defense Doppler radar, you can see we don't have a whole lot of this lake effect snow left. It's just this really narrow channel of moisture that is extending off the lake, impacting Lake Erie Beach going into Cat County, but it's really not all that impressive. This is only going to lay down minute accumulations, if that. This is not going to be a big deal. Live look downtown. We've seen a few snowflakes falling from time to time. Otherwise, the clouds are really socked in downtown over the Doubletree Hotel. 23 at noon hour at the airport with a west wind of 6, and that brings the wind chill down to 16. This is still below average, but at least it's a little bit warmer at this hour than it was yesterday. All right, let's take you through the day on MetroCast. Around 1 o'clock, again, as I mentioned earlier, this sky imagery back here is way overdone for what the snow is going to be today. It's not even going to look like this, but there will be a few flakes falling from time to time. We'll probably top out around 22, 23, 24 degrees, somewhere around there. As we go to 5 o'clock, there'll be more clouds around, so temperatures won't dip off as much because the clouds will act like a blanket, keeping our temperatures up. By the time we go to 10 o'clock, maybe 18 degrees. Should be mainly dry through the day tomorrow, through the night. And then it turns even better tomorrow. Newest run of the in-house computer model on FutureScan not being impressive with this lake effect snow. It's only these little what we call potato flakes. It's not a big deal. You can see it just basically cuts right out tonight, and that'll be pretty much it. Tomorrow will be nice and dry, and it'll be warmer as well. Additional accumulations. This is who cares kind of snow, 1/4 of an inch to a 1/2 inch, and even that is being generous. Who cares? This is not going to be a big deal. At least you won't have to shovel or plow anything through the afternoon hours. Zone forecast in the inland areas here. Temperatures here maybe into the lower 20s here. Of course, once you dip into the valleys, again, you don't warm up as quickly, so you'll probably be stuck down to around 20. Limited light snow showers, not a big deal. Not a big deal there. Temperatures lower 20s with that west-northwest wind. Now, near the lakeshore, this is often going to be the warmest spot here, and maybe some spots may get close to 30 right at the immediate waterfront, but otherwise less than a 1/2 inch of snow. Not a big deal with a west-northwest wind. The future is coming up on your screen. 34 degrees tomorrow, bright sunshine. The big yellow orb will be back in the sky. Much better. That's right around where we should be for this time of the year. Lower 30s. 38 on Thursday. A few more clouds. A little bit warmer as well on Friday, but we think Friday should be mostly cloudy. Another storm system coming our way over the weekend. Too early to know exact details at this point, but it looks like a rain and snow mix on Saturday, then possibly changing over to all snow. Again, way too early to throw out numbers at this particular point, and the snow showers will continue into next Monday, and those temperatures are right around where we should be for this time of the year. Justin and Norm?
Coming up in Norm's here with a look at what's coming up in sports.
Yes, Justin, coming up in sports, there's going to be a handful of high school games to be played throughout today. We will tell you the details on those when WNY News Now returns.
Want weather now? Download the WNY News Now mobile app and stay up to date on severe weather alerts. Plus, anytime hazardous weather strikes, stick with the Southern Tier's only 24/7 streaming network that keeps you safe. You're all in a tornado warning, so now is the time to go to a safe place, small room, lowest floor, near the center, away from windows. What are you waiting for? Download the WNY News Now mobile app today. It's free in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store.
WNY Sports Now is powered by Phone Zone of Jamestown. With the largest inventory around, we buy and sell our own merchandise at a price that can't be beat. Have a broken screen? We'll fix it. Learn more at phonezoneshop.com.
Happy Tuesday, sports fans, and welcome back to WNY News Now. I'm Norm Rodriguez with a look at sports. In the field of high school sports, the Jamestown Red Raiders varsity boys and girls bowling teams, JV and varsity girls basketball teams, and the freshman boys basketball team have games today. Jamestown's bowling teams will be on the road at 3:30 for games against Chautauqua Lake. Meanwhile, the junior varsity and varsity girls basketball teams will be hosting conference games versus the Frontier Falcons this evening, with the JV game at 6 o'clock and varsity at 9 o'clock. For the freshman boys basketball team, they will be hosting Chautauqua Lake this afternoon with a 4:30 tip-off. Andre Roberts, a return specialist for the Buffalo Bills, will be going to Orlando with Tre'Davious White and Tremaine Edmonds for the 2020 Pro Bowl, his second straight season getting a Pro Bowl nod. This season, Roberts provided a boost to Buffalo's kick and punt return numbers, running back 25 kickoffs for 664 yards and added 28 punt returns for another 223. In the 2018-2019 season, Buffalo was near the bottom of the cellar in kick and punt return averages. Roberts currently has 1 year remaining on his contract with the Bills. In the NBA, a current player in the league may have his career cut short. Last Wednesday, Chandler Parsons, a 9-year veteran NBA forward who was playing for the Atlanta Hawks, was a victim of a car accident in which a drunk driver hit the vehicle Parsons was in, causing a concussion and whiplash. already on the concussion protocol due to it. More serious injuries were revealed on Monday, courtesy of Morgan & Morgan, the law firm which represents Parsons. Injuries which they stated were suffered were a traumatic brain injury, disc herniation, and a labrum tear. The alleged drunk driver was arrested and charged with DUI on Monday, though the identity of the driver has not been revealed. That's it for Sports Today. Back to Justin and Dakota.
All right, Norm, thank you very much. Well, the National Comedy Center has been in Jamestown has been nominated for the 2020 USA Today's Best Reader's Choice Travel Award for Best New Museum. Now, the Comedy Center was one of 20 new museums in the United States nominated for the award by a panel of nationally recognized travel experts for the travel series. The Comedy Center is now asking visitors, fans, and supporters to cast their vote for the museum as part of the public voting process to select a winner. To vote, simply visit votecomedycenter.com. Voting runs through Monday, February 17th at noon. The winner of the award will be announced on Friday, February 27th. And Dakota, in 2019, the National Comedy Center was nominated for the USA Today's Best New Attraction Award, where it placed second out of 20 in new attractions from across the nation and was chosen as the #1 museum and #1 ticketed attraction in the poll. So pretty cool. They're up for another big one, and I think just another sort of marketing way for sure. I think if people all around the country look at this list and say, hey, this is kind of something I'm interested in maybe checking out, they will see the Comedy Center on that list and go to it. So if you can vote.
Absolutely. And I mean, I think we've mentioned this before in the past. We did on the grand opening when they opened the Comedy Center. We did our noon show
from there.
You know, essentially from the NCC. And the thing is, until you actually experience it, you really don't realize kind of how cool this thing really is until you actually go in there and you actually see the exhibits that they have, and you really get to immerse yourself in the experience. You really don't know how cool it is until you try it.
Yeah. So it really is cool, and I can't wait to see what else happens. And it's nice because they do keep adding newer things. Like I know
they keep have adding new exhibits.
Yeah, a new Smothers Brothers exhibit that opened last year. I got to check that out. I learned who they were and really honoring the history of comedy. There, some late night. Back then, it really was 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock hour was the late night. But they were comedy and really broadcast pioneers where they were a little risque for their time. And they got canceled from the air on CBS.
Okay, so they were essentially Johnny Carson before Johnny Carson.
Yeah. They sort of paved the way for that. And it was amazing to talk to them. We have that interview up on WNY News Now. You might have to search it up. I don't think it'll be in recent stories. It's been a few months since we did that. But Smothers Brothers. And it was really awesome to see. And the number of people, too, who supported them then and just kind of learning that history that normally you wouldn't have. I mean, I've never heard of them before this.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to see. And the reason I didn't hear about them is because it wasn't my generation. Right. So
it was my generation, but I was still doing weather back then. So it was like, it's all a blur to me.
Speaking of weather, let's get a final check of our forecast.
Let's take a look at it. Kinder and gentler days are on the way. So just a couple limited lake effect snow showers through the day, not a big deal. We warm up once again going through the remainder of the week and pretty much quiet all the way through the rest of the week. It's the weekend. We have to watch for another potential storm system. It looks like a wintry mix Saturday, maybe changing to all snow for Sunday and lapsing into Monday. Too early to know exact details, but of course, as we get the good quality data, we will of course let you know right here.
All right, Dakota, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
That's going to do it for us today. Of course, when you're on the go, stay in the know by downloading our mobile app. It's free on the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. We're back here tomorrow and hope to see you then. Got to say hello to Scott. Lori, thanks for joining us. Josh, good to see you here. Hopefully you all have a wonderful afternoon.